Today, on Public Eye News, former Representative Mike Rogers announces his bid for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat. Later, a Michigan landlord pleads guilty to COVID relief fraud.
Bianca Kroll will have your weather forecast for the next couple days, and Luke Niddle will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Gwen Case.
And I'm Beck Burley, and this is Public Eye News. In Lansing, former Representative Mike Rogers is preparing for another bid in the Michigan Senate. The announcement came from anonymous sources who weren't authorized to discuss Rogers' campaign plans. The race for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat is poised to be one of the nation's most fiercely contested after Democratic Senator Gary Peters announced Tuesday he is retiring and will not seek a third term. Peters' retirement adds a new challenge for Senate Democrats as they work to regain control of the chamber, currently held by Republicans with a 53-47 majority. This marks the second consecutive cycle in which Michigan Democrats must defend an open Senate seat, opening Debbie Stabenow's decision not to seek a fifth term in 2024. And Calvin Robinson, a priest in Michigan, his license revoked following what spectators said was a Nazi salute. Robinson performed the gesture following his speech last Saturday. In a statement posted to his Facebook page, Robinson said, in quote, "In case it needs saying, I am not a Nazi," end quote, later saying the gesture was a joke. On Wednesday, the Anglican Catholic Church posted a statement that said Robinson's license with the church had been revoked. Robinson is from England and in the past has been outspoken about his conservative views, according to a biography on St. Paul's Anglican Catholic Church's website.
Yesterday, Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Michigan Department of Lifelong Education, Advancement and Potential announced new data reflecting progress towards the state's 60 by 30 attainment goal, aiming for 60% of Michiganders to earn a college degree or skills certificate by 2030. Governor Whitmer said this will make Michigan a better place to live, work, and raise a family. This is a historic pathway for Michiganders to attain a higher education. In a recent announcement from the state, 56,100 students from across Michigan are benefiting from no or reduced cost tuition this fall through the Michigan Achievement Scholarship, including the Community College Guarantee. An additional 207,000 Michigan residents are benefiting from Michigan Reconnect, lowering costs for students 25 and older to earn degrees and/or skills certificates at their communities or tribal colleges. 2 Michigan State Police vehicles were struck by motorists this weekend, raising concerns about driver alertness behind the wheel. Colonel James F. Grady II said the shoulder of the road is a dangerous place for anyone and expressed an urgent need for drivers to slow down and move over when you see an emergency vehicle on the side of the road. An MSB patrol car was struck on Monday while assisting a vehicle that had slid off the roadway in Wexford County. On Wednesday, a state trooper and other motorists were injured when a suspected drunk driver hit a parked patrol vehicle during the investigation of an unrelated crash on I-75 in Saginaw County. Just this month, 7 MSV vehicles have been hit. Michigan's Move Over law requires motorists to slow down at least 10 miles under the speed limit and change lanes to avoid police, fire, rescue, ambulance, and road service emergency vehicles. Grady reminds us that driving is a privilege with significant responsibilities. Today, the search for victims and answers continues in the wake of collision between an American Airlines regional jet and military helicopter near the nation's capital. All 67 people involved are presumed dead, according to officials on the ground. CBS News' Natalie Brand has more information from Arlington, Virginia.
Dive recovery efforts are expected to resume today in the Potomac River for the victims of Wednesday night's tragic mid-air collision between an American Airlines jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter. Investigators are also combing through the site collecting evidence. The National Transportation Safety Board says it's analyzing the plane's 2 black boxes, vital pieces in their search for answers.
We want to make sure we get it right. We take our time. We involve a lot of people, a lot of parties. That's the best way to make sure that we don't let tragedies like this happen again.
At the time of the crash, both aircraft were flying at about 400 feet. Military helicopters are supposed to stay below 200 feet. Sources also tell CBS News that just one air traffic control worker was managing helicopter traffic and some planes taking off and landing when the collision happened, a task that's usually handled by 2 different people at that time of day.
As part of any investigation, we look at the human, the machine, and the environment.
This was the first major commercial plane crash in the United States in around 16 years. Among those killed, young figure skaters, their parents, and coaches returning from a competition and training camp.
I couldn't believe it at first, but after reality sets in, it's tragic.
Memorials of flowers placed in their honor at ice rinks in Northern Virginia and Boston. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
And we'll be right back with your weather and statewide news after this break. Stay tuned.
Asking tough questions to those in power.
Russia right now has you outmanned, outgunned. Is it time to think about a settlement?
As a newcomer to Congress, what did you make of the high degree of dysfunction within the Republican conference?
I always felt that it was broken.
And covering events as they unfold.
Opposition fighters have reached the suburbs of the capital, Damascus.
PBS NewsHour and PBS News Weekend, every night on PBS and streaming.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll, and here's our weather forecast for today. Looking at the roof cam here on campus, it's looking pretty snowy outside, and more snow showers are coming this weekend. And now moving into the map of the UP. Starting off in Houghton, it is 23 degrees, and across the UP here, it's pretty much cloudy everywhere else. In Ironwood, it is 26, Iron Mountain 34, and Menominee is 36 and mostly cloudy. Moving to the other side of the UP over here. In Escanaba, it is 35, Manistique 33, Sault Ste. Marie 31, and mostly cloudy skies. And back here in Marquette, it is 26 degrees and snowy, with the winds being north at 20 miles per hour and the barometric pressure of 30.04 inches and rising. Looking at tonight's forecast, we're going to have some more snow showers with a low of 11, the winds north at 18 miles per hour, and our moon phase is a waxing crescent. And looking at tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy skies with a high of 19, a low of 16, and the wind southeast at 14 miles per hour. And looking ahead here on Sunday, we're going to have a high of 36 with some partly cloudy skies and a low of 20. On Monday, a high of 24 with some cloudy skies and a low of 8. And Tuesday, a high of 16 with some cloudy skies and a low of 12. That's all I have for your weather forecast. Now back to the desk.
Well, thank you for that weather update, Bianca. I'm pretty excited to get out this weekend and take full advantage of these beautiful snowy conditions we've been having. But let's take a look at the statewide news. Attorney General Dana Nessel has concluded an investigation into a fraudulent pet adoption scheme. Harkema was the subject of an investigation by the department after she posted her dog Toby on RescueMe.org for adoption in May of 2024, claiming she needed to rehome him after receiving an eviction notice due to his barking. Harkema used the alias Abby Stratiski in connection with the sale. RescueMe.org permits third parties, including individuals and shelters, to list animals for adoption. 2 Michigan consumers saw the listing and paid Harkema a $250 adoption fee. Upon receiving Toby's veterinary and vaccination records, it turned out they were falsified. As part of the resolution, Harkema has agreed to pay $2,000 to settle the dispute. And authorities have announced the successful prosecution of a man who defrauded the COVID Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Mitchell James, a Northern Michigan landlord and business owner, was investigated by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority for almost 3 years. It was a joint investigation with the Presque Isle County Sheriff's Office. They found James had conspired with others to submit fraudulent SARE relief applications. These applications were given out during the COVID pandemic. They were meant to help families in need to avoid eviction and enable landlords to recoup past due rent. James received jail time and community service. He was ordered to pay full restitution plus court fines and fees of $158,000. And in Washington, President Donald Trump continues his focus on reshaping the federal government by ending some efforts to promote some types of diversity. In the wake of the deadly crash outside the nation's capital, he suggested diversity, equality, and inclusion programs may have been to blame, though he didn't provide evidence, and he acknowledged the cause is still unknown. Meanwhile, President Trump also appears to be pushing ahead with a long-promised economic plan. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
From President Donald Trump, theories continue to circulate around what led to Wednesday night's deadly mid-air collision outside of Washington, D.C.
Are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have, I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role.
The question as Trump signed a new memo blaming Biden and Obama-era efforts to improve diversity for problems with the Federal Aviation Administration.
The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website.
But the program also existed during his first term, designed to ensure recruitment for a variety of roles included people who have disabilities. Another program established during the first Trump administration worked to help people with disabilities get ready for careers in air traffic operations. On Capitol Hill, Democrats pushed back against the president's claim.
it just turns your stomach.
This while senators grilled 3 of Trump's cabinet picks during confirmation hearings. Meanwhile, back at the White House, President Trump promised new 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, citing immigration and drugs.
Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Oil explicitly not included on the list of taxed items. Trump said that, though, could change based on price. Jared Hill, CBS News.
We'll be right back after this short break for a sports report you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
Coming up this week on High School Bowl, we step it up a level. That's right, we're in our second round, our Cerebral 16, which means we have 2 great matches on the way. In the first, Manistee takes on Munising. Hi, I'm Jim Koski, and then in our second Cerebral 16 matchup, Gwynn goes up against Newberry. That's coming up this week, the first round of our Cerebral 16 on High School Bowl.
Welcome back to Public Eye Sports. I'm your host, Luke Niddle, and I'll be taking you through our Friday breakdown. Leading off on the hardwood, the Detroit Pistons host the Dallas Mavericks tonight to kick off a 6-game home stretch just before the All-Star break. The Pistons come into tonight just 1 game under 500, while Dallas sits at 4 games above. Detroit will be without starting center Isaiah Stewart tonight, as he was suspended 1 game by the NBA for checking Pacers center Thomas Bryant to the floor and was assessed a flagrant 2 and an ejection from Wednesday's Pistons-Pacers contest. However, Detroit is riding high tonight after Cade Cunningham earned his first career All-Star selection and the first for the Pistons since Blake Griffin in 2019. The 4th-year guard is having a year, averaging 25 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds, all bests in his career. And moving over to the ice, and speaking of riding high, the Red Wings are high in the skies after a shootout W in Edmonton gave them their 4th win in a row. After 2 quick goals by the Oilers in the first period gave them the advantage, Detroit locked in and knotted it up at 2 apiece with a goal from Michael Rasmussen and then a beautiful downstairs shot by Dylan Larkin to even the score. After a scoreless 3rd period and overtime, all the Wings needed was a little wizardry from Lucas Raymond to kick off the West Canada vacation with a bang. Detroit now preps for a ride over to Calgary, where it's 2 flaming hot teams on the ice tomorrow night. And ending off with Northern Michigan hockey, the team will be hosting the Bowling Green Falcons tonight and tomorrow for their second-to-last home series of the season. The Cats come into tonight trying to pick up a couple more conference wins before the Mason Cup kicks off. The last time the Falcons and Cats faced off in Bowling Green, Northern dropped 2 close games, losing 2-0 and 4-3. The Wildcats have picked up the pace since the new year, currently at 3-3 overall since the calendar turned to 2025. Either way, NMU will be looking good on the ice this weekend as the team announced an alternate flannel-themed jersey to go with Uper Night on Saturday. Puck drop is 7:06 tonight and 6:07 tomorrow. That's all I have for sports. Back to the news desk.
Thank you so much for that sports report, Luke. And now we've got 2 more stories, and well, after that sports report, I'm excited to head to the rink this weekend.
I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty sure it's going to be positively electric.
All right. Northern Michigan University students are invited to participate in the NMU Money Games from 6 to 8 p.m. Friday, February 7th in the McClintock Building, room 106. Students are encouraged to bring a team of 2 to 4 players, but can also come solo and be matched with others to create a team. Each member of the top 3 teams will win a $25 gift card. Career Services is hosting a virtual biology career fair on Thursday, February 6, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The career fair is an opportunity for companies and organizations to discuss biology jobs, internships, and careers with students.
Well, it appears that's all the time we have, folks. I'm Beck Burley.
And I'm Gwen Case.
And we'll see you next week.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.